more commonly known Councillor Chris Wood. And he is, I genuinely believe he's a future leader of our party, Councillor Chris Wood.
Yeah, thank you very much. What I've been asked to speak to today is just what we do on the council, both on Hampshire or on Fareham. I was elected to Hampshire last year and elected to Fareham this year. I'm the only member on Fareham Borough Council, which makes it more difficult. But on Hampshire there's 10 of us, and I'm our deputy group leader of our group on Hampshire. And if you ever wonder what your council does, it varies between councillors really. Some councillors of different parties and their own are all incredibly active, and then some councillors from other parties don't actually say a lot in meetings, don't tend to do a great deal from what you can see in the council chamber, but may be very good in their local areas. If I talk about Hampshire first, for the last 6 months I've been sat on a task and finish group from the Children and Young People Select Committee, which I sit on, and we've been looking into the short breaks programme for disabled children. And the Conservatives want to cut, and are going to cut, that service from £2.8 million to £1 million. That is a whopping great cut to people who, quite frankly, it's no fault of theirs, the country and the situation it is, and they're the sort of people that we're elected to protect. Now, what we've done, when this first came up in our select committee, I put forward a motion for a recorded vote that we would protect this service and protect the amount of money being spent on it. As a result of that, we set up the Task and Finish group to look into disabled breaks, and for the last 6 months we've been going through how to find these sort of savings. And if you think at the moment, this 2.8 million provides short breaks, a statutory requirement of government in the summer for a week for disabled children. It means they can go to guides, to scouts, to after school clubs, this sort of thing, just be normal children and give their parents a break from what is an incredibly difficult job they have trying to raise a disabled child. And we've gone through this and we've found, rather than the original proposal to cut it from this amount of money and reduce it from 5,500 kids to only 1,800, that through voluntary organisations, through management restructuring, through a pool tender process across all of the providers in the entire county, that we can actually save this money without affecting the service whatsoever. And this is totally different to what was originally put on the table. And we've done it properly. And as the UKIP member on the group, it's not been charging around or going to the papers or anything like this. It's been doing it properly in the council, negotiating with the other people who are elected onto that council and sit on the group. Because we all have the same aim. We don't want to see this service cut. It's vital for so many people. But they have to try and find the money, and that's set in stone, we can't change it. So we've looked at the providers, we've looked at voluntary, and when it came to the recommendations from Ms. Score's Task and Finish group to the Select Committee 2 weeks ago on the Thursday, we had 6 recommendations laid out, all were going to be approved by the Council. We had an additional motion put forward by the Conservatives to extend the lifetime of this money available, the 2.8, for another year, to give the transitional funding for the individual providers to actually be able to adapt. And this is something that the parent network who contacted myself and others on the council would ask for. It was a very good motion, of course we all supported it. The UKIP motion by myself was to set in stone that this was purely to save money and it was not going to reduce the service provided. And you've got to be quite clever when you're in the minority group on a council. So what I did, and other UKIP members have done it elsewhere, was to copy the exact wording that officers have used for a different piece of legislation going through our council on the overnight short break service. And it read something along the lines of, this is to not to reduce the level of service provided, but to provide the same level of service but at a reduced cost. They can't get around that. It's their own wording. It's the officer's wording. So this was my recommendation put forward, and it was accepted just about unanimously by all of the councillors on our select committee. And it means that this service will not be reduced. And that's what UKIP councillors do. We are there to represent people from all walks of life in our divisions on that council. And that's one little bit of success that we've managed to do. And when the executive member, which I'm sure he will, accepts it and signs it off, after the discussions with the public over the next 12 weeks, that'll be something we've done. That's a UKIP motion, and we've protected that service for disabled children. And I think that's bloody good, and that's what we're there to do. So I'm proud of that. because, you know, that's amazing for those people and amazing for the parents. And if you think that we get a bad press for being horrible, nasty people, well, I had the Parent Carer Network and mums of disabled children in the meeting coming up and shaking my hand afterwards saying, thank you for supporting us. And they know that I'm UKIP. And they've never shook a UKIP member's hand, if you believe what the press say. So it's bits like this. If you think we do that in the council, and that goes into your local press and maybe bits and pieces further up, people start to look at our party slightly differently. I think, yeah, hang on. They aren't as we are portrayed by some people. They do care about their local areas, they do care about individuals, and I'll give them my vote. I might go and join them, I might go and help them. Because really, without them there, this wouldn't have happened. And that's how you build in your local areas. And if we're going to win MPs next year, you've got to have people elected to the councils. You've got to do things. You've got to win your local areas. That's the building blocks. That's what the Lib Dems did. I don't really want to repeat what the Lib Dems did because they sold themselves out. And we would never do such a thing. But to actually campaign to get in, it was a good way to do it. Other things that you councils do, if you think on Hampshire, your county councils in your areas, your roads, your schools. So if we have potholes in my division, it's my responsibility to make sure that my council goes and fills them in. And they do it. Cutting trees back, clearing up this, getting the police to where you need them, speed checks, anything like this, it's little things. But if that person isn't there doing it, and the officers on the council aren't there doing it, well, your area would be an awful lot worse than it is. And some areas are not as good as mine, because we've got a very good council. And our officers work extremely hard. But when I walk around parts of Birmingham, I've got my councillor's head on. This is what it changes you, this job, it really does. It changes you like anything. I will walk around and I'll see, well, that pavement's not even. Or I'll say, well, that should have cut back. It's a sad old life. But, honestly. But there's bits around here which, quite frankly, the council's let them down and they sort their lives out because it's not good enough. And it wouldn't be accepted in my division. Not by a long way. Another thing that we do on the council, I'm sitting on another task and finish group, I like this task and finish groups. They're in addition to your normal meetings you're supposed to do as councillors. And they're all parties sit on them, so you do get hard work in councils. And it's libraries. Now, a lot of you would have your local libraries probably been reduced already. The amount of hours you can go in there, it's been reduced, you don't really know what goes on. Half of you probably don't realise the amount of internet access they have, that you can kind of download audio books and music and anything else in these places, because of an advertising problem. Well, they're looking at cutting our service again by another 2 million. And in 2009 it was £12 million. Now it's, 19. Now it's 12, they want to reduce it to 10. And I've got to sit on there and try and work out how on earth you go about saving that sort of money without cutting a service. And that's what UKIP councillors do. We try to retain the same service at a reduced cost. And that means looking at managers, it means looking at different ways of doing things, it means moving things, reducing paper costs, or putting things more on Facebook, and reducing the amount of letters being sent. Any stupid little things like this need to be done. I also sit on the Culture and Communities Select Committee. And on that, that's your parks, your football, your sports, anything for your countryside, your shoreline if you live in that part of the country, as I do. And I've had in-depth discussions with our executive member for a start, who's very good. He's a Conservative, but he's a really nice chap, and he does it now. You can't be negative against all these people, because some of them do a very good job. You get on well with them, and that's how you improve your area. Because we're not there in these places to try and burn the place down, we're trying to improve the area for our residents. And we've been looking at how, in Hampshire, they do sport for young people. And the great thing is, I'm their target group. Their aim is 18 to 25-year-olds, get them into sport and trying to get them more fit and active, because there's too many obese people in Hampshire, and they cost us too much money. And it's true. It's just true. We're looking at how they actually put forward those sort of policies and trying to get people into sport across Hampshire. And as a target market, I said, well, you don't do these things on Facebook. Your Facebook page has only got 200 likes, and the title of it isn't Sport Hampshire, it's Get Out or Get Active or something like that. No, it doesn't mean anything. To the think tank who thought it up in the council, oh, that sounds really good. But to the 18-year-old on the street, it means nothing. And I told them this, you're sitting down, and finally officers are starting to listen on the council that actually you can have some decency to say on this and we can change it. And they're looking now into changing their website, they're looking into how they can put more things on Twitter and Facebook and actually getting more people active. So if we've done anything on that council again, it's to achieve the council's aim. And it's not costing anything, because social media costs nothing. And the officers are there to do it. So we can actually get more people into sport in our area without affecting the service, without affecting any of the costs, which is top talk. That's what we need to do. I'm actually doing about 5 minutes just if you want to ask me any questions, because I know it's a little bit different to what we've done already, because most of it's been national or European. So if anyone wants to ask me a question on local stuff,